As in continuation with the vitamins, the pharmacological importance of vitamin is especially to know the deficiency of these vitamins and what are all the benefits of adding the vitamins, maybe a food additive or in conjugation with certain injections and maybe the oral route. So usually the patients during the debility period or during the disease onset, the supplementation of the multivitamins are administered as the tonic. So in the layman's terminology, these are all the tonics with mineral and other dietary supplements. So the vitamins should not be overused. That's also one caution because some of these agents, especially vitamin A, D, E, K, means the these fat soluble vitamins are harmful as they accumulate in body and may cause some of the pathological changes, maybe the liver disorder. So one need to have the caution. Whereas the vitamins are classified like this. The number one, the traditionally these are categorized into two groups. One is fat soluble vitamins and another one is the water soluble vitamins. So these fat soluble vitamins like the vitamin A, D, D2, it's also known as ergocalciferol, vitamin D3, cholecalciferol, or the vitamin A and K. All these are the fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, K. So in the there is a preparations, especially the varieties of the preparations are available with vitamin A, D, E, and H also. So many vitamins are classified and they are available in different form of the injections. Then the water soluble vitamins you can classify here like the vitamin B1, B2, it's called as the riboflavin. Then vitamin B3 is nicotinic acid. Vitamin B5, there is no B4, B5, that is the pantothenic acid, whereas the vitamin B6 is also known as the pyridoxine. Vitamin B7 is biotin. Vitamin B9, the folic acid. Whereas the vitamin B12 is also known as the cyanocobalamin and other cyanocobalamin, and apart from this one, the vitamin C. It's also the one of the class, that is the ascorbic acid. So apart from this one, the choline, inositol, carnitine, and GABA, all these are the precursor of certain vitamins. Then in the recent times, vitamins are also classified their biological and chemical activity, and thus each vitamin now it plays a important role, and it is called as the vitamer. All of show the biological activity associated with a particular type of the vitamin, maybe the vitamin B1 or the vitamin A. And vitamins, by definition, are convertible to the active form of the vitamin in the body, or what we are referring them as the prodrugs, and are sometimes interconvertible to one another as well also. So the fat soluble vitamins first are the fat soluble vitamins. So these are the vitamin A, D, E, and K. And these vitamins are absorbed and transported by the lipid transport process. Means they are all the fat soluble vitamins and can be stored in the body for long periods. So one has to think before administering these vitamins whether the dose, etc. Whereas the water soluble vitamins, they act very shortly in the body and get rid of through the urine. Whereas these fat soluble vitamins are the drugs which accumulate in the fat tissues and for a long time. So the whereas these water soluble vitamins like ranging from B1 to B6 and B12, etc., they function as the enzymatic cofactors, and they also required for the signal transduction mediators and antioxidants, and are liable to cause the cumulative toxicity after the regular ingestion of the large amounts. Then some vitamins interact with specific cellular receptors and analogs to hormones. And lipid soluble vitamins usually have the large hydrogen moieties in their chemical structure. That's the chemical formula. So these are all the vitamin A, which is available in different trade names. So this is available as the ampule, 2 ml ampule, and it is expressed in the international units. So this is the international units and its 6 ampoules are presented in a particular vial, and it's available as the different trade name like Avit Fort and the vitamin A, other things. So the vitamin A is originally the term has applied to retinol because a monohydric alcohol described as growth promoting factor present in the egg, yolk, butter, milk, and the cod liver oil. So the cod liver oil is the richest and cheap source of the vitamin A. And apart from this one, the milk what we drink every day as part of our food, and also the butter and egg yolk, they contain the highest quantity of the vitamin A. So the present term vitamin A used collectively for the retinol and the several other compounds. So processing the biological activity of the retinol. The pure vitamin A forms include the two retinoids, the retinol, that's the vitamin A1, and the 3-hydroxy retinol, that's called as the vitamin A2. That means simply what we can say is the collective term vitamin A is referring to the combination of two vitamins, that's A1 and A2. So here there is a structure of the vitamin A1 that is called as the retinol. So this is commonly referred as the vitamin A. A1 itself is referred as the vitamin A. So it's an isoprenoid compound containing the 6-member carboxylic ring and an enable member side chain. This is the side chain, especially this is a ring, carbocyclic ring. And it is present in the esterified, especially the retinyl ester in the mammalian tissues. And the marine fish, especially the cod liver oil, it's contain the high quantity of the vitamin A. So the fish liver oils, usually they contain the mixture of the different isomers, maybe the A1 and A2. Whereas the marine fish, the cod, shark and halibut fish, the liver oils rich source of the retinol and is prepared nowadays synthetically by the very cheapest source. And you know that the cod liver oil is available as the commercial preparation in the many forms. And egg yolk, butter, and milk are very good dietary sources of the retinol. So that's why there should not be any deficiency to the human beings, as the milk is a part of everyday food. Of course, the butter is not consumed every day, and some of the person they do consume vitamin A through the egg, and many of other sources are also there, like the vegetable sources and the animal sources. Then vitamin A2 is called as the 3-hydroxy retinol. So this structure is very simple like this. So the 3-hydroxy in the position 3-hydroxy retinol is the same retinol structure with only having one additional double bond in its molecule. That's all, nothing more. And the vitamin A is about 3 times less active than the vitamin A1. And is of little clinical significance. So this minor thing also should be known. Then it is obtained from the fish, especially the freshwater fish, liver, and of course mostly mixed with protein. Yeah, brother. So the plants in prokaryotes, carotenoids occur in association with the chloroplast and serve as the mediators for this photoenergy. That's the relative process by capturing energy from the. So carotenoids are rich conjugated with double bonds in order to act as the provitamin A. Although more than out of these, only 4 A-carotene, I-carotene like this Y-carotene, Y-cryptoxanthin are important. And especially this coming to the some chemistry, cats, unlike other species, are unable to convert carotene to vitamin A, and therefore require a very high dietary supplements of the vitamin A, maybe through the milk or through the other sources. And horses also do not convert carrot into vitamin A, which is hence it is not so easy there. Then due to the absorption, transport, and fate of the vitamin A or the retinoids, because it's a mixture of the vitamin A retinol and vitamin A2. So the following ingestion, most of the retinol esters in the animal products are hydrolyzed to retinol in the intestinal lumen by the pancreatic enzymes and also the repeat hydrolysis. So but there is a uptake, even though they are the fat soluble, there should be an uptake process by the intestinal epithelial cells, especially the energy dependent uptake. There are the carrier mediated process and is facilitated by the cytosolic protein called as the cellular retinol binding protein or the CRBP. And most of the retinol is re-esterified within the intestinal absorption cells into the polymicra, that is chylomicrons or chylomicra or chylomicrons. So these are divided into the lymph, especially released from the lymph, and appreciable quantities of this retinol, especially directly into the release directly into the circulation, where they are bound to the RBP or retinol binding proteins in the plasma. So this is the mechanism of action of the retinol. And here you can see that this is a ligand, means the retinol, then the different form of the same retinol. So this is especially this is intestinal cell retinol binding proteins are there with that of the retinol. This is retinol and retinol binding protein. So this is energy dependent active transportation or the carrier mediated transportation. So it will bind with the specific retinol type of the receptor. So then this receptor, this retinol binding protein and the retinol, they get separated from each other. So this is going to act on the certain specific items, especially it will act on the cell surfaces, and ultimately the a gene will be coded, a very specific gene will be coded, and the required protein is synthesized. So the carotenoids, about 40 to 60%, depending upon the dietary carotenoids, are absorbed from the intestine. In the intestinal mucosa, some carotenoids are oxidized into retinols, so which are reduced then to retinol and are utilized, or they are also known as the esterification. And these circulating retinoids or carotenoids are subsequently converted to the retinol in the numerous tissue binding, especially in the liver. And coming to the mechanism of action, so as we have already dealt, the vitamin A, they mediated their action through binding set of the retinol receptors, called as the retinoid receptors. Then when bound to a retinoid, the retinoid receptors act as the transcription factors. So they act as the transcription factor, so altering the expression of certain genes. And this promotes the genesis of the specific mRNA and eventually the synthesis of the very specific proteins. And two subtypes of the retinoid receptors are there. The number one is the retinoic acid receptors, or they are also known as the RARs, whereas the second type is retinoid into the receptors, or they are all called as RXRs, are identified, especially on the cell surface. So here, once again, you can see the same mechanisms, the vitamin A or the retinol. So the alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme or retinol dehydrogenase, this enzyme is going to convert them to the retinol. So retinol is converted to all trans retinol A and 9 trans RA with the retinaldehyde dehydrogenase enzyme. And in the liver, this with the help of this CYP enzymes or CYP20A1 enzymes, they are going to convert it, all these project 4-oxy retinoid and all the different products. So, and then the retinoid, it's going to bind with the retinol binding protein. Of course, it is going to be changed then the retinal binding protein will be deactivated, which acts on the specific retinoid receptors on the nucleus. Then it is going to synthesize the different proteins which are required to the body. So this is the mechanism in simple. And what is the physiological role of the vitamin A? So it has a variety of the functions in the body, and these functions are mainly related to the vision. That's why what we can call as these are the vision related amino acids, especially the vitamins. So the cell differentiation and tissue growth, etc., they are all very much required. The number one is the vision. Then the vision in case of the mammalian retina contains two types of the light sensitive, the photoreceptor cells. So light sensitive, photosensitive cells are there, and the rod cells are sensitive to light. So we know what are all the basic structure of the eye. There are rods and cones, and the rod cells are sensitive to light of low intensity, but not the colors. Therefore, they are involved in the night vision. And the cone cells act as the receptors of high intensity light and are responsible for the color vision. Then the vitamin A is more actively involved in the visual cycle and rod cells, and its function is described below as the visual cycle, how it is impaired. It's because the retinal rod cells contain a cell sensitive or light sensitive pigment rhodopsin, which is synthesized in the rods during the dark adaptation. Whereas this rhodopsin is formed by the combination of the protein opsin and 11 cis retinol, the aldehyde of the vitamin A. Whereas in case of dietary vitamin, the deficiency, the formation of the rhodopsin and its subsequent complexes are interfered. Whereas because of there is a deficiency, then the visual impairment occurs, and this leads to the condition of the nyctalopia, of the night blindness. Then irreversible structural changes with the permanent night blindness occur in the deprivation of the long-term vitamin A. In certain persons who are deprived of the food which is containing the vitamin A, there is a night blindness, or sometimes it's also hereditary. Then this is the visual cycle. Whenever there is a sunlight and other thing, the rhodopsins are converted to transretinal. Then the transretinal is converted to the retinol. Retinol is converted to retinol, whereas it is later converted to transretinal esters. And once again, the cis-retinol, to retinol, NAL. Once again, this cycle continues, whereas the apoopsin is converted to meta-2 opsins, and ultimately the end product is transducin, which in turn converted to the ion channels. Because of the ion channels, they will close, and reduced oxygen demand will be. That's why these vitamins and other things, other drugs are called as the antioxidative property. Then vitamin A maintains normal cell structure, especially it is required for the cell synthesis and all over the body, and promotes the mucus secretion and inhibits the keratinization of the epithelial cells. In this process, it appears that within the target cell, all transretinal is oxidized and isomerized to 13 cis-retinoic acid, which subsequently binds to retinoic acid. That's the specific cytosolic receptors are present, and which are the members of the thyroid receptor or the thyroid steroid receptors. And these retinoic receptors, which are already told that these control the expression of different protein synthesis, which are required for the protection of the mucous membrane and integrity of the cell and cytoskeletal integrity. So this is also known as the fibronectin, and reduce the synthesis of other compounds like collagenase and certain species of the keratin. So the deficiency of the vitamin A causes many more disrupted biological functions. And also the vitamin A appears very much required for the antibody response, normal lymphocyte proliferation, and killer cell proliferation. This is very much required. Whereas the vitamin A deficiency is associated with the increased susceptibility to bacteria, parasitic, viral infections. In vitamin A deficiency, what happens is the damaged epithelial cells often become infected. So that's why the vitamin A has been called as the anti-infection vitamin. The vitamin A, the another synonym is anti-infection vitamin, and especially the vitamin A is very commonly used in the reproductive disorders of the human being, also the cattle, and the vitamin A is required for the maintenance of the spermatogenesis and fetal development. Both in case of the males and females, it is very much required for the reproductive process, and the deficiency of vitamin A, this may result in failure of reproduction associated especially with atrophy or of this germinal epithelium layer of the testis, and hence there is the chances of the infertility. And other functions, vitamin A is considered important for the growth and cell differentiation. It has not got the important role in carbohydrate, fat, and the protein metabolism. So this is the vitamin A. It is having anti-carcinogenic effect because its deficiency has been associated with the increased susceptibility of the animals or the human beings to the cancer genesis. So this is a summarized chart how the physiological function of the vitamin A. Anti-carcinogenic activity is number one, the dietary carotenoids, maybe the beta carotene, that's lycopene, then beta cryptoxanthin. So these help in prevention of the tumors and modulating the proliferation of liver. And anti-inflammatory activity suppress the activity of the pro-inflammatory protein. Then increase of the immunogenic activity of different immune cells is also one of the thing, whereas the antioxidant activity is protection against the DNA damage, and the protection against the lipid damage is also another one of the function. The protection against the lipid peroxidation, then it increases the antioxidant status of the body also. Then the this provitamin A activity, this helps in the rejuvenating the shape of the hepatic stellate cells. And apart from this one, in the case of certain cancers like the hepatocellular carcinoma, this prevents the liver fibrosis progression in case of the carcinogenesis process. Then pharmacology of the vitamin A. So the pharmacologically, the drug is composed of the retinol and other closely related forms of the vitamin A in the synthetic preparations. So all synthetic vitamin A compounds are the structurally related to the retinol. Therefore, they are commonly referred as the retinoids. And vitamin A is used clinically mainly to treat the skin disorders, like some of the boys and girls do have the acne, and also sometimes few of the aged person do have the psoriasis, and certain forms of the cancer also vitamin A is used clinically. So coming to the classification of this thing, the synthetic preparations of the vitamin A or the retinoids, first generation, second and third, like this they are classified. Whereas the number one is the synthetic, that's also the first generation, that's retinol, that's tretinoin, then isotretinoin and alitretinoin. Whereas the second generation retinoids are this tretinoid, then acitretin. Whereas the third generation retinoids like bexarotin, then tazorotin, then adapalene. Whereas the natural preparations are the cod liver oil, very rich in case of the vitamin A, and also the halibut liver oil. So this halibut is also another fish in which the vitamin A or retinoids are synthesized. Coming to the first one, that's the synthetic preparations of this vitamin A. They are very widely used in case of human medicine, but their use in the clinical veterinary medicine is not very well established. But a lot of veterinarians are using them and getting the results. And occasionally, these drugs are used for the dogs for the treatment of the keratinization disorders, especially in case of the seborrhea. And synthetic retinoids are general more toxic than that of the natural preparations of the vitamin A. And teratogenicity may occur with all synthetic, that's the retinoids, and hence they are contraindicated, especially in case of the pregnancy. That means you should not inject the animals in any stage of the pregnancy with that of the vitamin A preparations. So it may cause the teratogenic effect on the fetus. SAR already we have seen in the detail. Then the retinoids, everything we have commerciality is obtained from the synthetic source called as the palmitate and acetate salts of the animal tissue, or especially the cod liver oil. So retinoin is all the trans-retinoic acid. So it is very highly present in case of the animal tissues. So varieties of the ointments are available. That's the tretinoin ointment may be efficacious for treatment of the acne. But it should be used very sparingly to avoid serious tissue initiation. This irritation is one of the side effects. So the cream is containing 0.025 cream, then typically only once daily it is applied. So different concentrations of this tretinoin are available: 0.025, 0.05, then 0.1 and 0.05. Like this, the different concentration with the different squeeze capsules are also available. Due to the natural one, the number one is the cod liver oil and also the halibut liver oil. These are all the preparations of the vitamin A. So this is containing the mixtures of the retinol and the stereoisomer retinol. So these preparations, naturally available vitamin A, is very commonly used in case of the vet medicine. And the cod liver oil is the number one source, a yellow oil, oily liquid with fishy odor and taste. That the cod liver oil is mixed oil extracted from the fresh livers of the species Gadus morue. It's called as the codfish and other species of the family Codidae. And whereas the cod liver oil has high levels of the omega fats, omega fatty acids, then the eicosanopentoic acid and the docosahexaenoic acid, and very high levels of the vitamin A and both vitamin D. So they will be present in the cod liver oil, a natural resources of the vitamin A. So usually the each gram, so this is the cod liver oil capsules, very attractive tiny capsules available in the market, and the cost is also very less. So the available as 600 British Pharmaceutical International Units, or it's also called as the 850 USP, and 85 international unit of the vitamin D it's containing. Then mainly it is used for the supplementary sources of the vitamin A and D, especially in case of the human and in case of the veterinary medicine. So it is cod liver oil. You might have heard when you were the small kids, it used to be administered by the mother to the kid to have a better eye or glowing eye. Dogs and cats, it's 0.5 to 8 ml per orally. Then the sheep and pigs, 4 to 15 ml, and cattle and horses, 15 to 60 ml. It is the total dose. So the always the high doses should not be given. That these attractive capsules are.
ರಾತ್ರಿಯಿಂದ ಹಂಗೆ ಆಡ್ತದ ನಂಗೆ ಏನೋ ಹುಚ್ಚಿಡ್ದವ್ರ
So these are available as the golden yellow tiny capsules and look very attractive. Then halibut liver oil is also very similar to that of the cod liver oil. It is obtained from the fresh or suitably preserved livers of the halibut species of the genus, that is Hippoglossus. So the fish, it is similar to the characteristic of the cod liver oil. There is no difference, but its vitamin content is very high. That's the halibut liver oil, which are vitamin A, that's 5,000 international units each capsule contains, and the vitamin D is 400 international units as usually it contains. And dogs and cats, it is the 0.75 to 0.3 ml per total dose. As it contains very high quantity, the dose is less. And of course, the horses and cattle 0.2 to 0.3 ml per kg orally daily until every day it can be administered. Whereas the vitamins, other vitamins like the vitamin D, so you may be knowing that vitamin D is available in different forms. Then the name of this vitamin D is, it's a fat soluble corticosteroids, and the activity of these drugs is attributed to the ergocalciferol, that is vitamin D2, or the cholecalciferol, that is vitamin D3. It's a mixture of vitamin D2 and D3, and two major physiological relevant forms of the, it's a anti-ractic agents, especially the agents has ability to prevent the cure or the rickets, anti-rickettsial agents. And vitamin D compounds promote the proper utilization of the calcium and the phosphorus. Both the calcium and phosphorus balance is maintained by this vitamin D. Then here it is also expressed in international units for this vitamin D, and equivalent to 0.025 picograms of the crystalline vitamin D. And the requirements for the poultry are expressed in the international units, International Chick Unit, ICU. So remember this thing, the expressive units of the vitamin D is, especially in case of chicken, is the International Chick Unit, ICU. So in little chemistry, that's it has got the D2 and D3 form. It is very much need to be remembered, and the vitamin D2 and D3 require further activation in the body to become the biologically active one, because these can be a prodrugs, but as drugs they are not effective. And the types of the vitamin D are the ergocholecalciferol, or vitamin D2 is produced by the UV irradiation of the ergosterol to provitamin for the vitamin D2. So then the ergosterol is mainly present in the yeast, fungi, up to 2% concentration of the total dry matter basis or dried substance. So the each milligram of this cholecalciferol contains 40,000 units of the anti-ractic activity, whereas the vitamin D2 is the active constituent in many preparations of this vitamin D, and in the irradiated bread and also irradiated milk. So it is available in the large quantity. So how this vitamin D is synthesized is the skin and the plants. The skin of the animal and the plants, they do have both provitamin D3 in case of skin, and also provitamin D2 in the case of the plants. Whereas the provitamin D3 is referring to the 7-dihydroxycholesterol, whereas the provitamin D2 is also called as the ergosterol. Whereas this is converted further, provitamin D3 is converted to vitamin D3. So it is called as the cholecalciferol, and vitamin D2, it's ergocalciferol, especially in the plants. And both of them will get accumulated in the liver, maybe the vitamin D3 or D2, then they are converted in the liver with the hepatic microsomal enzymes like the CYP27A1 in the liver, whereas this is converted to 25-hydroxy D or 25-hydroxy calcidiol, whereas this is converted especially in the liver to 1,2,5-dihydric cholecalciferol. So 1,2,5-dihydro D means cholecalciferol. Then the cholecalciferol or vitamin D3 is synthesized from the ergosterol, 17-dihydroxysterol. That this 17-dihydroxysterol is the main component provitamin found in the animal skin on exposure to the bright sunlight. That's why everybody say that the persons working in the office continuously should have the exposure to the sunlight. And the most animals, 17-dihydroxycholesterol is abundant in the skin, and the skin of the dogs and cats do contain only small quantity of the vitamin D2. Therefore, these animals are totally dependent upon the dietary vitamin D, and vitamin D also naturally occurs in fish, and the maybe cod liver fish and the other liver of the different fish variety. And the vitamin D3 is used as the reference standard D3 for assay of the all other vitamin subclasses, maybe vitamin D2, etc. So the vitamin D3, or they are all both equally active, D2 and D3 for the mammalian species, but it has only about 1/5 of the activity, especially in of the avian species. So this is once again a diagrammatic representation how the 7-dihydroxycholecalciferol with the UV beams, it is converted to the cholecalciferol. It is vitamin D3. So D3, and also from the food intake we can directly get the vitamin D3. So then in the liver or the hepatocytes, and also in case of brain pericytes, the enzyme 25-hydroxylase is present, and that is converting the cholecalciferol vitamin D3 to 25-hydroxy vitamin D3 or 25 vitamin hydroxy D3, D1, D2, D3. Whereas once again, this is with the effect of the kidney in the proximal tubular cells or there, and also the brain cells, glial cells, and also the neurons. So this, in the help of the alpha hydroxylase, then this is converted to 1,2,5-dihydroxy vitamin D3. Whereas this is the biologically active form, that's the calcitrol. This is also called as the calcitrol, and this is biologically active. ADME absorbs distribution, it's absorbed from small intestine, whereas the bile is the one through which it is excreted. So usually the absorption of the vitamin D2 and it is basically from the skin, and in the graph you seen that vitamin D circulates in the body in association with the vitamin D binding protein. There should be a binding protein, and this should be carrier mediated uptake of the vitamin D. Both dietary and intrinsically synthesized vitamin D requires the activation to become the biologically active agent, whereas the vitamin D3 has biological half-life of the 24 hours. Most of the vitamins, fat-soluble vitamins, have the long half-life, that's 24 hours, 48 hours, etc. But in the initial step, it is converted to dihydroxycholecalciferol. In this chart, we have seen whenever there is an exposure of the sunlight, then dihydrocholecalciferol is converted to the cholecalciferol. So suppose if it is the source is from food, then they will join here. Metabolism is converted to 1,2,5-dihydroxy cholecalciferol, or it's also known as the vitamin D3. And this step of the metabolic conversion is tightly regulated by the specific renal tubular cells, that is the alpha hydroxy enzymes. Then especially it is stimulated by the ferrous hormone and the estrogen and prolactin. So during this early end of the lactation stage, you can see that the animal's face is glistening and there will be prolactin release. Whereas in opposite to this thing, it is activity is suppressed by the very high calcium. If you administer too much calcium also, the hinder, it is activity is hindered. The phosphate and vitamin D intake. Then the calcitrol also inhibit in a feedback manner. The mechanism of action. So here it is explained very well. That's the vitamin D sensitive processes are there. Here you can see that the vitamin D3 is acting through a specific receptor, and ultimately it is excreted out of the cell through the demethylation products with the methyl groups, and usually it controls the epigenetic landscape by expressing the dimethylase. So then the action of the vitamin is it controls the expression of the calcium homeostasis, then controls expression of the antioxidant genes, controls formation of serotonin, then also inhibits the inflammation, then controls the expression of the mitochondrial protein. So varieties of the functions of the vitamin D are there. Then 1,2,5-dihydrocholecalciferol they are distributed widely throughout the body and being to the this superfamily of the steroid hormones and also the thyroid. So the vitamin D receptors activation in the intestine, kidney, and parathyroid cells are done, especially in the kidney. So coming very fastly to the physiological functions, it is involved in the oxidation, side chain cleavage, then some of the biological processes like the cleavage of certain hormones is also indicated. And the physiological homeostasis, the calcium homeostasis is metabolized, is maintained by the vitamin D12, D2. So this maintains the normal interaction of the calcium and phosphorus plasma by facilitating their absorption from the small intestine and by interacting with the ferrous hormone to enhance the metabolism of each other, especially from the mobilization of these preparations from the bone, and by decreasing their excretion in the kidney, they are deposited in the bone. Absorption of the calcium, so it also, as usual, it is requiring the calcium binding protein or the calbindin. So this is very much required, that the diet, this vitamin D receptor promotes the endocytosis capture of the calcium and its transport across the duodenal cells in case of the vesicular form. So effects on the bone matrix formation, and many more are involved. And the kidneys, the vitamin D enhances the tubular reabsorption. So other effects, like it's having effect on each and every cell of the body. So it is synthesized in skin in ideal conditions and transported to other organs wherever it is required. So disorders of the vitamin D, it causes specific disorders. So it causes the rickets in young animals and osteomalacia in case of the adults. So the osteomalacia, you can see the rickets characterized by softening up of the bones. So osteomalacia, so the goats and other thing, it is equivalent disease, especially in case of the adults. So a curved shape, severe or early stages, appetite and other things are also decreased. So in case of excess vitamin D is also not required, and it causes the hypervitaminosis D, and it causes the diseases, but especially this is present in the Solanum and Cestron species of the plant. So some of the rodenticide do contain cholecalciferol, may result in toxicity consumed by the contamination of the animals. And the classification like this, all this cholecalciferol, ergocalciferol, etc. So tomorrow we will go to the vitamin D and the vitamin, this other drugs. Just wait.